on, everybody. 122 million votes, billions of dollars in political ads, and what if all of that, the entire presidential election, really comes down to some dude in Denver named Mike?
My name is Michael Baca. Right now I'm a graduate student at Northern Arizona University, Master's of Education, Human Relations. Sorry, what was the last question?
The last question is how Michael Baca became our lead story. The answer is that he is an elector, a member of the Electoral College. He's pledged to Hillary Clinton along with Colorado's Democratic delegates, yet he's trying to lead an uprising in the Electoral College to throw the election to any Republican besides Donald Trump. This is beyond a long shot, but it's technically possible.
I'm a former United States Marine, and the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. I don't believe Donald Trump has that.
It kind of seems like you stumbled backwards into being an elector.
Yeah, I absolutely did.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was. I just signed up the paperwork and I was asked to run, and that's exactly why I signed up the paperwork, in case no one else would do it.
I understand that there's not a law that binds you to casting for Hillary, but you don't feel like you violated your word to voters when you said that you would faithfully elect her to now do something else?
No, absolutely. I did violate my word, and the votes have not been casted yet. So we have 34 days, and we'll see how the election turns out. But I don't think that the majority of the American public would mind if we avoid a Donald Trump presidency.
Is this how the system is supposed
Absolutely.
to work?
This is just another step in the process.
I know that you want to make a point about the Electoral College and about the outcome of this year's election. Is it possible that what you end up doing in the end is ensuring that 4 years from now they make sure that there aren't people like Michael Baca who are in the Electoral College who can screw with the result?
I would love it. I would love that 538 people do not have the power to do this. I don't feel that I, Michael Baca, just a guy who's a graduate student, should have this power. Trust me, I understand.
With all due respect, I can't tell myself whether this is brilliant or disgraceful.
Me too.
Baca says he has commitments from 6 other renegade Democrats in the Electoral College. Constitutional experts say that any serious Electoral College uprising is highly unlikely. Do Colorado a favor, would you? Tell your out-of-state friends that the new marijuana social use ordinance does not allow people to just light up anywhere, anytime. Refer your reefer friends to politics guy Brandon Rittiman, who can explain the new ordinance in 60 seconds.
First, Denver won't have hash bars, not like the ones in Amsterdam. Under Colorado state law, it's illegal to allow people to use pot at a pot shop. In theory, you could open a social use business right next door to a pot shop, but they'd have to be separate. Aside from that, there aren't many restrictions on what kind of business can apply for a marijuana area. You might see pot areas in bars, coffee shops, restaurants, maybe even a bookstore for deep reading. If the business is going to allow smoking pot, that needs to be out of sight. The law says outdoor smoking at street level can't be visible from sidewalks or streets or any place kids group together. It's unlikely you'll see a business that allows smoking pot indoors. A cigar bar is about the only kind of business that could even try. But vaping and eating edibles could be allowed indoors. Businesses need to partner with one of roughly 200 official neighborhood organizations in Denver to apply for a license. They can agree on ground rules about hours, alcohol, and more, which means the rules might be a little different at each social pot place that opens. For Next, I'm Brandon Rittiman.
We need a reggae version of the Next theme music. Cody, can we do that? We can do that. Yeah, all right. New law also allows for temporary permits for events, takes effect early next year, expires at the end of 2020. This is a pilot. The city could pass its own plan to allow it to continue. The city of Denver once more sent workers out to sweep homeless people and their belongings off city streets today. This morning it was the Ballpark neighborhood. Second sweep there this year. The first was back in March, and there have been other operations in other areas. Anything left behind on the sidewalk goes to a city warehouse where it can be claimed, but rarely is. The mayor's office says the homeless camps on the sidewalks are a health and safety threat. Homeless activists tell us that the sweeps violate constitutional rights.
So I like to say to the people here in the state of Denver, we did not come here to take your sidewalk. We want housing. We want a better system on housing instead of waiting list after waiting list. We just want housing. We just want to get off the street. We don't want to block the sidewalk.
And the city responds that there are as many as 200 places for homeless people to stay around the city. There's a group filing a lawsuit challenging the sweeps. Colorado State Trooper Jamie Jurcevics bravely stepped into traffic on I-25 1 year ago tonight, trying to stop a drunk driver. 1 year after her death, there's what we know, that the drunk driver, a decorated Army colonel, was the one responsible for her death. He's in prison. There is what we will never know, which is how many lives Trooper Jurcevics saved by her actions that night. And then there's what we are setting out to learn, whether the Colorado State Patrol trains its troopers to take that extreme risk, to step into traffic to stop a dangerous driver.
Hi, that's David Johnson. I'd like to report somebody that I think is drunk while driving.
November 15th, 2015.
He's on the shoulder. He's almost hit the median wall a couple of times.
Eric Henderson was driving home after drinking all day.
I'm not sure if the person is drunk, but there's a very large truck, like a flatbed, that's moving back and forth.
Concerned drivers were calling 911, trying to get Henderson off the road.
I just wondered if there was a state trooper in the area, if they might be able to intercept him.
Trooper Jamie Jurcevics was up ahead on I-25, assisting another trooper with a crash.
Someone's going to be getting in touch with you here pretty shortly, okay?
Dispatch connected Trooper Jurcevics with a caller.
She said she was assisting the trooper. She couldn't leave the accident. She was going to try and stop him. You can see her flashlight. She's waving it from side to side. And that's when I heard her scream.
The last thing Kevin Buckley saw was Trooper Jurcevics' flashlight fly into the air. 9 Wants to Know also saw that. Investigators allowed us to watch the video, but not release it because of its graphic nature. In it, we could see Trooper Jurcevics in the road, using her flashlight to direct a drunk driver to stop. Do you train your troopers to stop drunk drivers with a flashlight?
It depends on the situation, but possibly yes.
State Patrol provided 9 Wants to Know documents showing troopers are trained to use flashlights to direct traffic, but they don't have specifics in their manual about using flashlights to stop drunk drivers.
Stopping a DUI driver who's being called in as a ready report or a possible drunk driver, coming down an interstate when you're outside of your vehicle, is that common to do? No, that is not common. But I will tell you the extreme dynamic nature of our job, that is not the first time that has ever happened, and I can assure you that'll probably never be the last.
We asked law enforcement experts around the country about the use of flashlights in similar situations. We found it's common.
The most dangerous terrain for law enforcement is a freeway.
Former Phoenix Police Chief Daniel Garcia told us you do what you can to save lives.
The fact that tragically she lost her life on this issue doesn't make it a wrong tactic. She was trying to do her job, and she probably saved lives.
Tragedies like this.
Ron Martinelli, former officer turned forensic criminologist in California, said the flashlight is useful.
The question to the agency administrators and trainers are you looking at this and are you going to adjust policy? Because if you don't strongly discourage this behavior, it is absolutely going to happen again.
When a trooper dies, you guys said you've looked at everything and you've made no changes.
I'm not going to say that we won't retrain. I'm not going to say that we won't reevaluate as time goes on. But to make a wholesale change at this point in time, I don't think that we have enough to make a wholesale change.
As with all its troopers lost in line of duty, State Patrol says it's using Jamie's story as a lesson for all new cadets, because it's just a matter of time before they will encounter their first drunk driver.
The piece that we want to leave our cadets with when we train them is that treat every situation very seriously and be very vigilant and aware of your surroundings.
For Next, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
Now, we know that you don't drive drunk. Next viewers are better humans than that. But there are plenty of good humans, good Coloradans, who still don't abide by our state's move over law. You must change lanes if you see an emergency vehicle ahead, or slow down if you can't change lanes. Drunk driving aside, that law might save lives. Not sure if we're building bridges over politics with our new Let's Just Talk series, but we might prevent some from being burned.
If we're not talking to one another, we're not even going to explore our own reasons, let alone other people's.
Math is like vegetables. Sometimes you have to hide it so kids will enjoy it. And have you ever looked at someone and said, they must have a story? She does. Next. Let's Just Talk. It's turning out to be a thing. Hundreds of you have asked to be part of our one-on-one conversations between Republicans and Democrats. Stand by for a big announcement about that right after we head down to Sheridan and talk with Rob, who wrote in Republican Rand Paul, and Chris, who supported Bernie Sanders and then Hillary Clinton.
I'm okay with the result. You know, I think America wanted a change, and guess what? That's what we got.
Well, I'm not at all surprised. I'm a little disappointed, and I think the anger was bigger than the risk of the unknown.
I should mention you're small business owners. How does that play into your hopes and fears for the future?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I think Trump has promised that there wouldn't be increases in taxes, and I'm not sure how that's even possible. But small business owners usually pay some sort of price when there's a change in leadership. So we'll have to wait and see.
What are your hopes for the country?
Good economy. Need to get jobs back. This is why I kind of support Trump. I hope that my daughter has a future, a good job, a career.
He has been unkind to women. I mean, if it's just language and just words, then I would appreciate it if he would be more careful of how he speaks, though I believe it's his actions as well. I'm afraid that we've been set back, that girls will be less confident to come forward and to speak their minds and even get into politics.
You two have agreed to talk with each other. This is a great time to mention that you're married.
Right.
How old is your daughter?
She's 8 years old.
8 years old. What does she know about the election?
Well, she's followed it somewhat. We try to keep her involved, but age appropriately involved. She knows more than I wanted her to know, and some of it she's just not old enough to understand if it's explained to her. So it's kind of it's a hard spot.
Yeah, I think what she knows about the election is through the conversations that we have at home. So, you know, we don't pull any punches at home. You know, we don't get into arguments about it. I respect what she thinks and her values and her opinions on things ranging from the business to politics to foreign affairs, whatever.
I know that with Rob having different political ideas than me, that I've learned about libertarians. I've learned about Republicans more than I would have, and I've even learned about my own beliefs on the Democratic side and why I feel that way.
I appreciate you letting us in on your conversation.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for, inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
We are airing an hour-long Let's Just Talk special on Friday night. Voters from across Colorado and across the political spectrum gathering to talk about what a Trump presidency and the past election means to them. Friday night, 6 to 7 p.m. We are on TV as usual from 6 to 6:30, and then we'll continue the discussion on 9news.com. No need to hit the old TV news weather panic button, but this is a good time of year to test out the system. And you can't stop the beat, not even if you take away her drumsticks.
My dog's back, my counter, my other dog's back.
Plus, whatever is happening here. Next.
Well, a not-so-gentle reminder of the season coming our way on Thursday. But who doesn't have a cute sweater, cute pair of boots they've been dying to wear? Steve? How about that high today? 77 degrees. Not quite a record. Tomorrow we might break the record. System coming in from the Pacific Northwest will bring accumulating snow to the northern mountains and the resorts just in time for the Thanksgiving holiday. Shouldn't snarl traffic too badly. It's a fast-moving storm system, but winter weather and travel advisories have already gone up for the high country. And here in Denver, it looks like a quick inch of snow that will not accumulate on the ground but melt simply because these ground and surface temperatures are so warm. Heavy snow in the high country, though, 5 to 10 inches of snow at many of your favorite resorts like Steamboat, Aspen, and Vail Wednesday night into Thursday. Tomorrow, sunny, warm, increasing high clouds in the afternoon. A dry day along the Front Range and Eastern Plains. Those gusty winds will push us back into the upper 70s. The record tomorrow is 78, and I do believe we will beat that. Tonight in the city, fair skies and 40 degrees. Tomorrow, beautiful day. After a mild start, temperatures come close to 80 ahead of a storm that will drop temperatures half that number, 40s on Thursday and Friday, along with a little rain-snow mix. All clears out just in time for the weekend, but Friday is going to be cold and Saturday looks pretty chilly as well. And well, we just can't get enough of this beautiful supermoon. So here's another shot for you.
He went Hollywood, waiting tables on his way from Colorado to his dream. And his new dream is teaching kids here how to play music. Maybe learn a little math along the way.
A room full of drumming kids.
Have a seat, guys. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Makes focusing on anything tough.
They want to move and they want to hit stuff.
I don't have a drum, so I play drums on everything.
And she means everything.
My dog's back, my counter, my other dog's back.
But in all this noise,
guys, have a seat.
Curtis Madigan hears opportunity.
Fisher, watch.
He developed a different way to teach music.
How about 1 minute?
One that starts
No talking.
with a moment
I love that.
of silence.
When the kids learn how to quiet down and calm themselves, their playing it elevates really quickly. All right, here's the rhythm. You ready?
Then Curtis uses math
You guys can all add and subtract, right?
to help kids get the tempo.
Rhythm is the sound of fundamental mathematics.
I really like the sound and the math of it.
3 and 1.
Addition helps them find the beat.
They're both triangles, right?
Then focusing on geometry keeps it steady.
The geometry that they're learning, or shapes, just shapes if they're younger, it's the shapes.
Finally, music starts to take shape.
A square has symmetry. And it's a perfect analogy for rhythm because generally we compromise the stability of the rhythm. And if they go, oh wait, if I change that at all, it's not a square.
It wouldn't be like the same shape, and then it would like go off track.
That always clicks, and then the rhythm goes through the roof.
Maybe it's the right formula.
As long as they're not playing on their dog, right?
After all, numbers and notes make for a perfect harmony.
It's a real blessing to be able to impact kids in a meaningful way, in a powerful way.
With photojournalist Mike Grady.
Nice and steady.
Steve Stager for Next.
Curtis's program's currently in about 60 schools across the western U.S. He hopes to take it nationwide. It makes sense, really. An empty nester would end up with chickens, and then things got weird on her. Next. I don't even care what this is. The moment that Chris Garrett sent us this video, we knew that we were going to show it to you on Next today. It happens to be 11 chickens playing a xylophone in her backyard in Parker. Chris says that these are her empty nest chickens. Her son went off to college. She wanted some company, so she got 11 chicks. They became chickens. They then became bored, so she bought them a xylophone and put little dots on it. They think the dots are bugs, and now they make beautiful music together in her backyard. That's weird. Jim Wern and Deb Wyckoff both noticed the boxing gloves sitting on the table when we talked to Rob and Chris Messling at Hope Reprographics in Sheridan. That was the couple's touch, not ours. Nobody hit anybody. We thought it was a good touch indeed. Carrie Ebling writes, thank you for your piece about Trooper Jamie Jurcevics. Her sacrifice is not forgotten. Jared McDonald wants to extend his thanks to the Next team for covering stories I actually want to hear about. A lot of you wanted to hear about the Electoral College defector that we profiled tonight. Vara writes, without a doubt controversial and thought-provoking, don't back down. We need to think in order to change. Can't stop, won't stop. We'll see you next time.